Alright, let's talk about the baseline to buy and sell stock with Cooldown. So you are given an array and then you want to find out the maximum profit. Basically there's an array and then you want to buy a stock, and then at one point you want to sell it, right? And then somehow you want to have a cooldown right after you sold it, and then you can buy again. So this question is supposed to be easy to understand, but it's really hard to come up with a solution. So I'm just going to talk about how I do it, because if you have different approach, this might be confuse you, right? So again, you can when you buy, right? So I'm going to talk about logic. So when you buy, right, then you need to sell at one point, right? Then you will have a cooldown, right? Then you are back to the buy again, right? So this is the state machine, but this is not complete. Why? Because you don't have to sell it right away when you buy it, right? So you should have this buy, and then at some point I can say hold, right? And then after holding, I can actually sell it. So when I sell it, I need to go to the call, right? Just call down and then back to the buy again. So this is pretty much the state machine for the questions. So again, there's a problem. So when you want to do in the for loop, you need to have the original holding, which is the previous state for holding and selling, because you are using a hold and sell in this transaction. When you're updating your buy, updating your hold, updating your sell, and updating your cooldown, right? So you need to have a previous state to calculate the previous profit, right? So this is going to be pretty much the idea. So again, I'm do this again. So here is it. So initially the cooldown is definitely going to be 0, right? Because you didn't buy, you didn't sell, right? So it's going to be 0 by default. And then for the sell, this is going to be 0, right? And then I'm going to just assume I buy the first one. So buy will be what? Buy will be negative price at 0 index. This is because I assume I buy the first one. Then I can also hold the first one, which means I buy, right? So I can say hold is equal to what? Negative price at 0. So you might assume why you have negative. This is because when you buy a stock, you are losing money, right? So this is pretty much the default value, right? Again, you will start the for loop. So when you start the for loop, you have to start from I equal to 1, and this color is okay. So let me redraw again. So you have to start with I equal to 1, and then to I less than what? The length of the profit, right? Sorry, the length of price, sorry. And then you will have to have the two variable to store your previous holding and selling. So I'm going to call original hold, and then original sell, right? So I'm going to use these two variables to update my current transaction, right? So again, this is int, right? And then for my holding, I have two possible ways. I can actually keep calculating which is the current maximum I have to buy, right? Which is current maximum I have to buy. So I would say it's either maximum between what? Buy or hold, right? So I'm just assuming I keep buying and holding, and then without any other like selling or holding or cooldown, right? So I'm going to assume I only have buy and hold for whole variable, so I can know which one should be the maximum profit so far, right? And then for the sell, I'm going to what? I'm going to use the current price to what? Calculate what is the maximum profit based on my what? The buy and original holding, right? So when you buy a stock, right, you can hold, right? So when you hold, you are using the original hold. This is because you update the hold already, right? So imagine you are on the second day, right? You want to sell the stock on the first day you buy. So you want to have a maximum between the buy and original hold. So I'm going to say B and O, right? So the maximum between these. And then the buy will be what? The buy will be determine the cooldown, right? So you have to say the cooldown minus the current price you want to buy, current stock, right? So this is price high. And then again, back to the coding, back to the cooldown, right? Back to the cooldown. You need to find out the maximum cooldown price so far, right? So it's going to be maximum, max, cooldown, and what original sell, right? So you want to find out which one is the current maximum profit so far. And then later on, you will have to determine which one is your maximum profit. Is either sell or the cooldown, because in these two, for the buy and holding, you are actually spending money, right? When you sell, and then when you at cooldown state, you are actually like getting the profit, right? So this is the profit, and then the cooldown is actually determined. I mean, it's related to the sell for sure, original sell, right? So let's start coding. So you just have to know know the logic before you code. So again, since you have 3 different states, which is buy, sell, and cooldown, right? So if the length of the what? If length of the price is less than 2, you cannot do anything, right? So I will have what? I will have a buy. For the first one I buy, 0, right? And then I will have what? I will have hold, right? I will have a first holding, sorry. The first one I buy, and then I will have to sell. So I don't sell anything, right? And then I cool down, right? It's equal to 0. So on the first state, on the first iteration for I equal to 0, you can buy, then you can hold, right? Because you just assume you buy the first one. Okay. So for in I equal to 1, I less than price dot length, and I plus plus. And I need to have a 2 variable. I'm going to call original hold equal to hold, original sell equal to sell. So this is pretty much really simple. So for the first SQ line in the for loop, you should be calculate your hold, because you can still holding after you buy on the previous state, right? So you should be able to hold to calculate the maximum. So the maximum between what? Between hold and buy. So you assume you want to buy a new one instead of the current, instead of the previous one, right? So just assume like this is array 2 1 3 0 2, right? So you buy the first one, right? But you know the second day is has a lower price, right? So you want to say, all right, I might buy this one, and then I will sell this one, right? Something like this, right? And then this is pretty much the idea. All right, so I hold. So after I hold, I can sell, right? So you want to know this is the next day after you buy. So you want to do these 2 variables first. So this is going to be price at I plus the maximum between what? Buy and original holding, right? So original holding is based on what? Based on the hold, right? So you can buy, and then after you buy, right, you can sell it right away, right? You don't have to cool down, right? Or you can use the holding value, like when you buy, like when you buy it on this day, right? And then at this day you will just hold and hold and hold, and you want to sell at this day, right? This is the logic why you're using the original hold. And you can sell it, you can definitely sell it right away, right? So buy and then sell, right? So this is pretty much it, right? And then what else? For the buy, right? So now you can talk about the buy, because this is supposed to be what? That's supposed to be an update for the buy, right? So you will have what? You will have cooldown minus the price at I, right? This is the state machine for buy, right? You will get a buy from cooldown, right? And then why you use negative, I talk about it because you are losing money, right? And then for the cooldown, right? For the cooldown, this is going to be based on what? Based on the original cell and then cooldown. So max cooldown, cooldown, original cell, right? And then at the end, you just have to return max, cooldown, and cell, right? So you determine which one is a maximum profit so far, right? And let me run it. So I got an error, right? Max line 13. And one more time. Alright, let's submit. So let's talk about time and space. This is gonna be space, and this is also space. But in real life, like even though there's a variable creating a for loop, right? This is supposed to be constant. You can say it's all of them, but I don't like to say all of them because you will get garbage collection right after you finish the code, finish the program, right? So the space is going to be constant, and then for the time, this is definitely all of n, right? You will traverse from 1 to the end of the price array, right? So this is a solution, and the code is supposed to be really simple, but it is really hard to come up with this kind of solution because you can use a 2D array like DP to solve it, or you can use another like array solution to solve it. But what I found out is this one is supposed to be easy to understand, and I came up with my logic. So this is my solution, and I will see you next time. Bye.